Okay, in this video we're going to be taking off from the general store and we're going to go up Trail 2. I'm going to start here at the general store. Then again, this video is for somebody that's been first time here at Windrock, that's intimidated about coming, and it's not all big boulders and rock crawlers. There's a lot of stuff for ATVs and side-by-sides and old people, young people. There's just a lot here. So we're going to head back down this trail and we're going to turn down here left on Hoskins Gap Road. That will lead you to the trailhead of Trail 2. Trail 2 and 22 are the two main trails that go into the park. And here we have the Windrock Trail Maintenance Building. We'll turn here. That's where they keep all the equipment to maintain the trail. And this parking down here is just some overflow or general parking if you want to be away from everybody else or you got a big group. There are people that live at this park full time. That's what you'll see here to the left, the gated areas, and just ask people to respect those people, and they'll be pulling up in their driveways at 2 o'clock in the morning with your headlights shining in their houses, because that does happen. And on the left here is we got the Windrock Bike Park. If you got BMX or mountain bikes and that's your thing, they got all kinds of trails. They take you on a truck and trailer up there and you ride the mountain down and repeat over and over. This parking here, there's a parking lot off to the left is just overflow parking. Here straight in front of us is Windrock Hollow. That's where they have all their main events and obstacle course and mud bogs. But we're going to turn left here, and this is Trail 2. If you're a beginner and intimidated, this is the trail I would take into the park because it is easier than Trail 22. Trail 22 has a few rock gardens and creek crossings and so when you come up Trail 2, don't be surprised if right in this area here is security, and they will be checking your passes and your coolers for alcohol. It is a non-alcohol park for insurance reasons. If you have alcohol, they will turn you around or make you pour it out. Drink all you want at your campsite, you just can't be out on the trail with it. If you do drink at your campsite, stay at your campsite. Don't come out here on trails drunk, because nothing good comes from that. And again, usually I'm in a KRX 4-seater with electronic suspension, which rides like a Cadillac on these trails compared to this ATV. But today I'm on the ATV. Trails aren't dusty today. It's been rained a couple times this week, so it's about 50 degrees and no dust, which is perfect riding weather. There's only about 2 seasons here at Windrock, either dust or mud. And sometimes it changes in the middle of the day. There's a green line running through there. You might have seen it if the video picked it up. That is a gas line. There's a lot of places through this park where gas lines run down the trails. They are active gas lines. There's a lot of gas pumps on this mountain. That's how they make some of their money for their income. Places on these trails that are rough, and they're rough because the gas line only lays a foot or so underneath the ground, and they can't take a dozer or excavator and smooth it out because they'll tear the gas line up. Everybody asks, well, why is G1 always so rough? Well, there's a gas line that runs all the way down it, and it's too close to the top, and they can't work it. This trail is maintained several times a year. Again, it is one of the main trails into the park, so they try to keep it in good shape. Sometimes it gets away from them, and sooner or later they'll get it caught back up and reworked. And I am kind of narrating this video as if you've never been here. This would be your first time down this trail. People have been down it hundreds of times, and they can just correct me on all my mistakes. So far, there's nothing major on this trail. Been in two-wheel drive the whole time. You are going to see these sediment pits like this right here. Do not go near them or off into them. Some of them are 3 feet deep, some of them are 6 feet deep. That is so the water running down this trail will run into that pit, the mud will drop to the bottom, and then the water will flow out the top. It's part of the conservation they do here to try to keep the dirt on the trails. When I first came up here, I saw that. I was like, why in the world would people dig holes next to these trails? They come back later with a track hoe and they clean the mud out of it and put it back on the trail somewhere. There are also areas pushed off like that back there where the water just runs off the edge of the hill. There's a gas line coming through there. It's a non-active gas line that's cut. There's the other end of it there. Again, like I said, I'm narrating this trail. This is your first time. One thing you do want to do is have clothes for all types of weather. It could be 80 degrees one part of the day, the next part of the day raining, and you're freezing your butt off. You don't want to come out here unprepared. So whenever it storms out here, I don't care where you're at on a mountain. When you're on a mountain and there's a storm, it seems 100 times worse than when you're standing down at the general store. Some of these trails will twist and turn and go off other directions, but you just stay on the main beaten path, follow where it looks like it's worn. When we first started coming out here, we'd come to places where it would section off in 2 different directions and be like, oh my gosh, which way do we go? Well, there's a solution for that. Windrock has an app that has a map on it. Lifetime Trail Maps also works. Nothing against them. But 90% of the time I use the app on my phone. If I get lost, I just pull it up and look for the blue dot and say, oh, that's where I'm at. It's like $20 a year and it's well worth it. One of the other things I want to bring up is how quickly these trails change. I was down this trail 2 weeks ago and I can already see changes that weren't there 2 weeks ago. The trails of Windrock constantly change from being easy when they're dry to I've been up this trail just spinning the tires all the way when it's wet. A lot of debate over tire choice at this park. It's rock tires, mud tires. My thinking is there's a lot more rocks than there is mud, so we run a rock tire. Plus we also ride places that we probably shouldn't be riding, so. But a rock tire does not work in the mud, and a mud tire does not work on rocks, so pick what suits you, what your type of riding is. Here's a little rocky spot. I used to be able to climb up this rock ledge here on the left, but it got so dug out that I don't think it's possible anymore. This section right here is probably the toughest spot on this trail, if I remember right, and it's not tough by any means, just bumpy. Another little rock ledges you can climb there. Like I said, if you're intimidated by the trails here, if you can do this trail, then you can do most of the trails at Windrock. 22, like I said, is another main trail that goes into the park, but it is a little bit rougher, especially on an ATV, just because of the size of the rocks. I'll do a video of it in the future. These berms here, they're not speed bumps. That's so the water will quit running down the hill and run off either the sediment pit or off the side of the hill. Everybody's like, oh, why there's so many speed bumps? The speed bumps are the rocks. There's a water hole. It's probably not deep. Most of the water holes at Windrock are not deep. There are a few, half a dozen maybe, that are deep. But most of them have hard rock bottoms in them, but they hold water. Back where we ride at home, you don't dare pull off into a mud hole because it may be 12 feet deep. So you're out there poking with a stick or throwing rocks in it, trying to see how deep it is. We come up here, we're stopping at every water hole. It's like, do we go across it? What do we do? And we found that most of them, I'm not going to say all of them because there are always exceptions, that most of them you can traverse across them. We have hit a couple and had oh shit moments, and front end was floating or water coming in the doors. And I do have a list of some of the mud holes. We have a Facebook page called Wheeling Windrock. If you go to the files section up in the tabs, I think there's a file up there that has trail numbers if you're into mud. Trail 22 has what I call a mud bog section. You can go to the left and it'll be a mud bog, or you can go to the right and go around it. But it does have a mud section on it that usually always has water in it. I don't really know how deep it is. I've never tried to go across it, but it doesn't look like it'd be fun. As we continue up this trail, we keep going up and up and up. You don't really realize how far up you're going. But you keep going up the mountain. Whenever you come up, you got to go down. But speaking of going down, whatever vehicle or equipment you bring here, you make sure you want to have good working brakes, because when you go up, you must come down. And some of these hills, it's pretty rough through here, but nothing major. Some of these hills are pretty steep going down. You want to make sure your brakes in good working order. I've seen videos of people are out here riding with no brakes, which makes no sense to me at all. But each to their own. I always bring up in these videos, you hear a lot of people say, oh, don't go by yourself, which is true if you're going to go out and ride stuff, the extreme trails or stuff you shouldn't be riding. But if you can't find anybody to come out and ride with you on Trail 2 and 22, you should be okay if you have any experience at all, because they're pretty easy trails. Sooner or later, somebody will come by. They're the most used 2 trails in the park. If you have problems, most people are nice enough to stop and help. So if you are here and you can't find anybody to go out with you, I would not be afraid to try these 2 trails. Like I said, if you have ridden any at all and have experience. Now, if you're just starting and never been out in any type of environment like this, I probably would not attempt it. Be better off to go with somebody then, so they can show you exactly what you need to do. With that being said, about being out here by yourself, you want to make sure it's not muddy. You go down Trail 2 and Trail 22 like today and be perfectly fine. If it's rained any length of time at all when you come out here, it's a whole different story. You're going to have a heck of a time getting up Trail 22 in the mud. So you got to take that in consideration with everything else. On the Windrock Map app, there is a section at the top you click with the bars that will tell you all the trail numbers, the length of the trails. I can't remember. I was trying to remember how long this trail is, but it has all that information on there. Trail off to the right was G11. And up here in front of us is Trail 17. We're going to make this dog leg. And a sharp turn called the dog leg. And come back up on Trail 2. G10 is here to our left. It runs down below Trail 2. I do want to say, if you enjoy this type of trail, you need to check out the trail G20. I don't know if it's G20 or Trail 20. I haven't really named it yet, but it's a new trail that they have open. It goes up around the top of a mountain and is very scenic. And we're going to come up here to the top of Trail 2, and it comes out on G1. We're going to go left on G1 back to the main paved road.